everyone. Welcome to the Deep Stream on this Monday evening. Today we're gonna chat with two developers from the Escoria project, and we have a little board meeting where we can tell you something about the Escoria project and have a QA afterwards. So let's just get going and join our group chat if it works. There you go. We're joined with Julian and Duncan, both my dear colleagues from the Escoria project, and we want to tell you a bit about the project itself, how it started and how it's going, and how we're planning to continue forward with it. I don't know, Julian, can I give the word to you about the history of the Escoria project? You're more known to that. Ah, okay. I think I actually fucked up Discord and yeah, the sound didn't go through. I'm sorry. Let me just do a quick look. That's the very first time I'm doing this, so please bear with me. Why isn't this caught up by? Uh, oh, here you go. I think it should be this. Julian, can you say something, please?
Yeah, I'm testing here. Can you hear me? 1 2 1 2 test. Testing again.
I'm hearing you with an echo, but I think echoes. It still echoes. Okay, okay. Maybe I need to. Can you do it again, please?
Yeah, 1 2 1 2 test. Testing.
No, still an echo. Weird, 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 weird.
Yeah, we've never done that before.
Yeah, it actually says disable echoes. Oh, maybe I need to use black hole. Now one test again, please.
Testing. 1, 2. Can you hear us?
Yeah, now it's
Duncan,
just
maybe?
quiet, but I think
Oh,
we
he's
are
muted
able.
again. Yeah.
Whoa, no, even more echo. Ah, damn. I don't have any echo filter on this. Oh, I think let's use this. One try again, please. And now?
And, je vais essayer de parler en français. Peut-être
And
que
now
ça
I can't
marchera
hear
mieux.
you anymore. Unreal IT people here.
Testing again? Yeah. Not sure.
I think there's still echoes.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Well, let's just continue with echoes currently. I try in the background to fix that in the background, but at least we can hear you now.
Ah, we can hear me. Okay. Um, just checking in on the chat. I'm here on the chat for our the viewers. So if somebody has something to say about the sound, tell me. So should I start over?
Yeah, I think that would be great. Yes.
Sure. So the question was having a bit of history about Escoria. Escoria was created by Ariel Mansour, who is one of the core developers of Godot Engine. He developed this framework as a collection of script in order to create adventure games, and it was created in the purpose of creating one game, which is Dog Mendoza and Pizza Boys Interactive Adventures, available on Steam. And after a few time, this framework was released as free and open source and made available for everyone on GitHub in a GitHub repository on an official repository of Godot Engine. So when it was released, and as I was and I'm still am a fan of adventure point and click games, I had a look. I tried this framework and put my hand on it. Tried to make it evolve in the good way, to make it more easy to use, add some more features. And since there was no lead developer, I took this place with the time. And after 1 or 2 years of work, I proposed a complete rewrite of the framework, so that it was made as a Godot Engine plugin for the editor, and allowing us to better maintain it, adding more features, new features easier, and yeah, have a tool that's better designed for Godot users to create adventure games. So now we are here, and after a few time, you joined me first, Dennis, and after still a few time, Duncan here.
Yeah, here we are. Yeah, I mean the main goal behind Escoria was always to have to give the game developers as much freedom as possible, while providing some sort of base set of tools, so that actually designing the games itself is pretty easy. But all things aside, there are still a lot of chances to hook up into the system and make your game, specific game, different from others that are developed in Escoria. And well, Duncan has already created a game during the Adventure X Jam with it. So that was a first alpha test for the engine, and I think it went pretty well. So that's what was the first success, I think. All right. So the question is, where are we now currently? Let's maybe let's just go over to our project board and see what's still open there. Let me switch over to the other screen now so you can see my screen as well. Um, So we have a central issue tracker with Escoria for all the specific add-ons that we design with Escoria. Escoria is basically based on one big add-on for Godot. It's the Escoria Core plugin, which does all the main handling and connections for the game. And we have then extracted the UIs and the dialog management into separate plugins, with the idea that these plugins that we distribute are just basic stock add-ons that you can use to quickly set up a new game with Escoria, while we advise you to create your own UI and dialog management for your game if it doesn't if it doesn't if it isn't the right UI or dialog management for your game. And optimally just release your game or your add-ons on the Godot asset lib for others to use afterwards. We're currently in I'd say it's still alpha phase with Godot, reaching a better phase in hopefully a few weeks. So there's still issues in the issue list here. Which are tagged for the milestone 4.00, which is the version we're going to release, um, and which is, of course, it's which is not backwards compatible in all ways. We had to cut a lot of loose ends for the code, and even removed some ESC commands during it. So, but I think 4.0 will be the starting point of a more of a better maintainable software that we can move through the Ascoria required features and also the Godot versions with the 4.0 release looming in the background. So let's see. I think we can just go to our board, which would be the best overview of it. So there's still some things to do. We have a lot of documentation issues to fix. Maybe we can just go over through the actual issues currently. So this is the documentation of the saving and loading system. Um,
Yeah, so this one is currently ongoing. I had a small stop, which is actually a big stop, because of the end of year and the whole whole January month was quite complicated for me. So and there were some change in the save and loading management system. So I stopped writing for a bit. Now I'm getting back to it. Uh, I'm half the way, I think, so it should be ready very soon. I hope to be able to work on it more this week and have it finished by the end of the week. Yeah, that's
right.
main,
Great.
mostly documentation here.
Mhm. Just an idea about the echoes. Let's see if that works better. Okay, so then there are some additional to-dos there. We also had some bug reports in the Discord chat, where the step-by-step guide is not fully compatible with the code currently. Just today we had a report of the that we have to add the dialog position to the player character, so that the floating view of the dialog manager uses it. It's very specific to the floating view, but that's the default setting for the dialog manager. So I think we will turn those into issues afterwards. I think that's the best idea.
Yeah, Indeed, that's better.
Okay. So then we have other things that are planned for OO. One is the ask dialog player not calling a non-base method. What is that again? I've created it, but I don't know. It's called something that's not in. Oh yeah, yeah. I saw this during the stream, I think. So we have to look in there. I think that's a pretty basic thing that we just need to move a method into ESC Dialog Manager. There was just something wrong. So I think this is a minor thing um, that could be fixed quite easily. Turn ESC object into resource. Doug, you created that?
Yeah, I think that was something we discussed in Discord. It was just a bunch of dictionary key values that probably made more sense to collapse the whole class just into a resource instead.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Um, that could be a bit bigger, I guess, because we use ESC object quite heavily, so might be might take us some time. All right, and then the specific documentation issues here about the main menus, the pause menu. We all just had questions about that, how to design the main menu and pause menu. So this is quite interesting, I think, for some users of the Discord. Yeah, and the puzzles, how to design that. We have one puzzle already in the demo game in this room 10 or 11 or something like that, where you have to enter codes in a keypad. We just have to migrate this into a document or document this actually.
Just a precision about that one, about the puzzles documentation. After the release of 4.0, I intend to try to enhance a bit the demo scenes and include some more rooms that will reflect some scenes or room that you can see in real games. Let's call them real games, especially some it's not exactly a puzzle, but something like a tool, you know. It would be like an UI showed to the screen when the player character enters an elevator. Yeah, an elevator, and wants to
Mhm.
change the level of the elevator, then he can click on the first or two or third.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the right word for that, but yeah, having this small UI with showing the buttons and change the room with that. It's not exactly a puzzle, but it's something that happened many times in games. I remarked this while playing some games recently. I think it happens in Deponia,
Yeah.
and I know it happens in some LucasArts games as well. And that's something I would like to demonstrate. It works exactly like a puzzle anyway, and we could also come with with some puzzles examples. But I want to demonstrate that, and this could be actually used in order to write the tutorials later.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But I would anyway still write a first version of that, because we already have one puzzle, which I totally stole from Among Us. Thanks, Among Us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, let's use the second. Interactions, verbs, and ESC item mostly. There's some issues there open. Explain the action workflow. Yeah, we completely switched the action workflow recently, so I think we have to get our heads clear about this anyway. Um, how to create NPCs, how to create trigger zones, and how to write a cutscene.
I
Yeah.
think the NPC's creation was already explained, was it not? Oh,
I
maybe
don't
it
know.
wasn't.
Let's just
Yeah,
check.
no, we don't have any NPCs in the step-by-step guide. That's
No.
right. So that's for a second. Well, yeah, well, that's for a new page indeed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We only have one very simple interactive item in the step-by-step guide. Trigger zones, yeah, and cutscene. Yeah, I mean cutscene is just bringing together various ESC commands into a single file, but I think that's pretty easy. Inputs management section. This is a quite heavy task, I think. Point and click, drag, strike to cursor, first person, keyboard controls, mouse, gamepad, touchscreen. There was a question about gamepads recently in the Discord chat, and we don't have support for gamepads currently.
Yeah, that's the next one. No, that's not the next one,
That's
but
the
I created
documentation.
an issue for that. Yeah, indeed, I created an issue today, which is not in the Escoria 4.0 board, but you can find it maybe in the Escoria issues.
It's for future, targeted as future,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, but that will be for the very, very closely after the release 4.0.
Yeah, yeah. We have to switch about a bit there because currently we just use point and click, so we actually just get an event that the character has to move somewhere, and with gamepad design support, we have to actually make the player movable. So this is quite a switch there. So it can't be in 4, but I guess 4.1 then.
Yeah.
So I think, well, we just the question is if we can drop the documentation then there, because what is to document about inputs currently?
Mostly the workflow to me. That is, I'd make a graph or something. Not exactly a UML graph, yeah, but just a graph with the order of the order of the steps from the input event, the click on the background or on an item, and where does it go after that? That is, we have the input event. It's if it's on the background, it's caught by the ESC background, which then calls whatever the function then. And if it's an item, then it's not on the ES background. It's another node that catches the inputs, and then it calls whatever the function, and so on. I would just make it like a graph explained, but not going too much into the details because I'm not sure that's really interesting for the game developers. That would be interesting for Escoria developers, indeed.
Yeah, very
But
much.
yeah, game developers are not so interested with that. I believe they just want the things to work, and that's all.
Yeah, yeah, very much. I mean, now that we have changed all this action workflow, I think that the graph will be much simpler now and better to understand.
Indeed, yeah. But I'm not sure I would write such page right now. Let me just check again what's in there. Keyboard controls, yeah. Anyway, the gamepad section will go away. It will come in 4.1, I guess.
Yeah.
So after we have worked on it. Touch screen, on the other hand, is something important to talk about because it's specific to mobile.
Yeah.
And we already support mobile.
Yeah.
At least I didn't test for quite a long time now, but the last time we tested it worked, so
yeah.
it should be okay. But again, actually with mobile and gamepads come a lot of questions. I tested a few years ago the mobile version of ScumVM and the way they control the cursor. And they have two ways to control the cursor on mobile. Either you have the cursor under your finger, where the exact position you put your finger on, the cursor is under it. And they have the relative version of that, which is the cursor stays at its position, but it will be dragged
Okay.
for the movement of your finger. And we don't manage this at all in Escoria, and maybe that would be interesting because that way you can see the cursor, which is important if it's not hidden by the finger.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I mean, I think the most natural way of handling touchscreen is actually the first thing because you put your finger on something and expect it to go there, at least from other games. But it would be a great addition if that is something that a specific game needs. I mean, a lot of this is handled through the UI add-on anyway, so we just have to make sure that it works basically, or maybe implement that into the simple UIs that we have currently with the stock UIs.
Obviously, I'm not sure we should talk about something that's not developed yet.
Mhm.
I'm just saying that we, at least I want to think about it for the future. The documentation should be written only about what we
Yeah.
have right now. So, yeah, don't hesitate to stop me if I'm going too far in the future. Just throwing the ideas as well, because yeah, I'm always afraid that I forget them anyway.
Yeah.
But another thing about that, if you guys have any good mobile games, adventure games, I mean point and click games, that we can play on mobile phones or tablets. I'm really interested, so I can have some more inspiration of already existing examples. If you have some, I'm really interested in the chat as well. If anyone played good adventure games on mobile, I'm really interested.
I'm
I seen the chat as SS Lax mentioning Wadjet Eye games. I don't know if they're mobile, but if you're talking about the Blackwell series, which I adore, as an example, I don't think they're mobile. I think they work on Switch though.
Yeah, they
Some
do.
of them are, okay.
Currently, I was thinking about Unavowed, but I don't find it in the App Store as well.
Hmm.
But
Okay, I should try
some,
then.
but it wasn't Grundig's games. Is there a Grunislav author on the App Store? No, it isn't. I think I heard some. I'll check that. Yeah, I'll get back to you on that.
Thanks. I'll try Watch Jedi games if there are some who are that work on mobile. I will try them. I also mentioned the Lost Age, which is quite cool.
Yeah,
I, I
at
think
least
that's
the
a fun.
first part.
Yeah, at least the first part. Maybe it's free, and the second part is not free, I think.
Uh,
But it was
I don't
worth
know.
it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was quite cool.
Yeah. Um, there was something I wanted to say. Um, anyway, forgot it. Um, Keyboard controls. I think that work the same way as gamepads. Or what did you mean with keyboard controls?
Oh, yeah. For that one, uh, I um, I was thinking about two things, which I'll talk about. I talked about in the new issue that I created, not for 4.0, but for 4.1, which is about controlling the player character with for example, the arrow keys, which is something. This is something we don't manage in Korea at all right now, but that would be using the keyboard control. That's one thing, and the other thing, which is in my eyes much more important, is disability management. People who are not able to use mouses, they sometimes use the keyboards, or uh, yeah, something like keyboards, and allowing them to um, not scroll, but just travel through the objects on the screen and highlight them, so they can use the action and highlight the object
Yeah.
just using the arrows, and yeah, the objects are highlighted one after the other. Some
Yeah.
kind that kind of things. Um, mm.
Screen reader support, for example.
Yeah, well, yeah, that also, yeah, for example.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense. Um, yeah. I mean, with that, we have the same issue as with gamepads. We have to switch control from passive control, indirect control, if I might say that like that, to direct control of the player character. which would probably help us also with automating test suites for Escoria, because when we can control hotkeys or shortcuts in Escoria in Godot, we could automate testing with it, which would be a great thing.
Yeah, that's right. We should work on that too. That will not be ready for 4.0, but at least for starting for not sure for 4.1, but just after maybe, because that will take some time to have it working. Yeah, definitely that will ease our work a lot.
Yeah.
The idea would, yeah, if you agree with me, we would just have to run the test suite and the game basically runs itself.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
plays itself as well.
Yeah, exactly. So we can test out all the corner cases before refactoring and stuff, would make the code much more reliable. Yeah, another thing I want to add for maybe for one is to have a better editor for the walk cycles and for the animations. So that we don't rely on the resources, on the Godot resources itself, and we have a Julian, you had the idea of having a graphical editor of the animation. So the degree calculation is much more clearer there.
Yeah, I tried the step-by-step guide. I followed it a few days ago, just to be sure that everything was working correctly, because we received a few feedbacks, not so many, but just a few, and the feedbacks was that mostly one or two issues were occurring and reoccurring, and no one told about the resources, but I did myself think that the resource writing was quite a bummer. It's long, it's error prone to me. I would like to have a tool that eases this for me and allow me to have it visual. So
yeah.
I already have an idea of an UI for that. I could make a mockup maybe. It would be based on the test scene that I created, which is in the project, but which didn't evolve at all for a month now.
The animation helper.
Yeah, that was the animation helper, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I want to evolve that one and integrate it as a new, how is it called? It's an editor center plugin. At least it would be like a 2D edit, a 2D viewer.
Yeah.
Like you have the 2D, 3D asset lib, and I'm missing one, but
Main
we
screen
would just
plugin
add one.
something.
Yeah, that's it. Main screen plugin. That would be a main screen plugin, definitely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Cool. So the last one on the list is the add an instant transition to curtain.
Yeah, created today.
Yeah.
This one was rather easy, and indeed we didn't think about it, but we don't have an instant transition in the curtain.
Yeah, just flipping around, yes.
Totally, we were just so, at least me, I was so worried about the curtain working with the transitions that I totally forgot to set up this kind of transitions. So that was important, and I just forgot.
Yeah, I also think that's quite an easy one, because we already have the different transitions there with the what's it called, tiles and the fadings and the and the curtain. So I think just adding an instant there is pretty easy.
Actually, wouldn't it just bypass the curtain? You just don't put
Yeah.
the curtain at all. That would be easier.
Yeah.
Right.
Although maybe if it's a material, it follows along with the other transitions, and we don't have to develop something aside from that. Then we would have to check if the transition name is instant, and then we do this stuff, and if it's not, then we do the other stuff. So maybe just add an instant material, and use the
Oh, actually, the instant, yeah, it will only slip to the next scene after the setup event is done, right? That's really important that the setup event is not shown to the user.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm thinking about how we will develop that. Just want to make sure that there isn't I don't have a good expression for that, but something big hidden in that.
Yeah.
I'm used to that. I already met these kind of problems before.
Especially in the transition part.
Exactly. This gave me white hair.
All right. Yeah, so the question would be how long we need to fix up these things, in all the small things and going through the step-by-step guide again and all this stuff. Um, it's hard to.
I'll talk numbers here. Saving and loading system. I'll try to have it finished. Yeah, I want to have it finished this week. I'll try to avoid putting my mind in other things. That's quite hard sometimes. But yeah, I want to have it finished as soon as possible. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'll mostly write documentations.
Okay. I'll go with this one. Let's just also assign this to me. And I don't think that this is quite a big thing. To just, I think it's just a little thing. Duncan, would you do this one?
Yeah, I can take that on.
So, okay, so this one you would take as well, Julian?
Yeah, I'll take that one as well.
What about this one?
We already have some. That would just require to create some NPCs in the step-by-step guide, I guess.
NPCs, trigger zones, and cutscenes.
Explain the Arcstern workflow. I think we will not do that. Where is it coded by Escoria? Where is it transmitted and converted into a game action? That's not interesting for the game developer.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just remove that point here. But create
Agreed.
NPCs, trigger zones, and cutscenes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think I can tackle that.
All right. Do we have another character to add in the room?
I think so.
We do.
Right. Let's see. No, we just have Graham.
Oh damn.
We could have his evil twin brother perhaps.
He looks so bored.
Very much. Yeah, but I'll see what I can do. I mean, there are a lot of animations out there.
Yeah, right. Okay, thanks.
I think that will take some time, but I'll see if I can fix it this week at least, because I'm still on vacation this week. Yeah, so that would be my plan.
I'm on vacation next week too, even though I'll be in the mountains. But I'll try to work next week. I think I will take a few time. At least I will not be at work. So when I'm not in the snow, I'll be able to work and write some documentation to get back on the ground. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I've given up hope that we have snow this year here. It would be around this date currently. Yeah. I mean, what's a winter without snow? No? Okay, so controller input management. I mean, we can switch. We can remove. I'll remove that right here. We don't need keyboard controls currently and gamepads because we don't support them.
Yeah, we don't have them right now. So Well, we will create a documentation issue for that as soon as the newest issue that I created this today will be implemented.
Yeah.
But
Quest.
the first line point and click. What did I mean? Point and click
I was
direct.
wondering the same thing.
I don't remember what I wanted to say on that. Point and click direct drag straight to cursor first person. Oh, first person. Yeah, I remember that one. That was for Myst-like games, which you're a specialist about, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, actually, Escoria should be able to do the same thing, but it's not tailor-made for that.
Yeah.
So actually, yeah, it would be possible, but that's just a plus, you know.
I mean,
We don't have to document this. I mean,
I think so. We already have the characterless rooms. I don't know if we have documented this, so this would be the start point of first person, and you just
right.
put the hotspots at the specific positions.
And we don't have any documentation point for that. Instead of first person, uh, maybe write the non-character room.
Yeah.
That would be interesting to have because nothing in the documentation indicates that it's just possible, except for someone who tests through all the demo scenes
Yeah.
and sees that there is a room with no character at all. That's all. That doesn't fit in another, right?
Point and click direct drag. I mean, we don't have any dragging currently.
Actually, we do.
We do?
Yeah, I think it's with the simple mouse plugin. When you click an inventory item, then it will be attached to the cursor.
Oh,
That's actually
that. Okay.
that's and you don't have to attach it next to the cursor. We could also totally replace the cursor with the item.
So you want to document how this works in the UI?
Yeah, that's actually an example, but I think it's very important because that's something you encounter a lot in adventure games, if not all nowadays. I'm not sure. I think Widget Eye games do that.
Yeah, they do. Implementing drag and drop features for drag and drop features. That's just the thing.
Basically, that's explaining how to, not how, but where to write this, which
Yeah.
is actually in the game script, which does everything.
Yeah. Yeah. But we can have a small code snippet about how the idea works.
Sorry, can you repeat, please?
I think we should have some kind of small code snippet or a small example on how to implement drag and drop basic functionality.
Yeah, right.
What's straight to cursor in regards to direct?
What did I mean here again? Direct straight to cursor. Maybe that was about the ESC location that you attach to an item. Not sure, but this is if that's it, it's already documented.
Yeah. Okay, in first person we have this in characters rooms.
Yeah, and first person, yeah, in characters rooms, so it's okay.
So
Talk
also.
about and controllers, yeah, mouse and touchscreen are the only ones.
I'll rephrase that into also give information about current controller support. Maybe like this.
Yeah.
I was thinking about just info box with currently we support mouse and touchscreen. Even maybe planned is keyboard and gamepad, something like this.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And by the way, that's something we should also provide an APK for an Android and maybe an app version for Apple. devices with the demo scenes or even the step-by-step already working so that people can test.
Yeah.
I remember someone requested that to have the whole step-by-step demo
Yeah.
project completely finished and available to download, so that I think I can understand that. Many people who are wanting to check what Xcoria can do won't take the time to read through all the documentation. They'll try to find some demo game
Yeah.
or the demo project already working and run it and
Yeah.
see how it goes.
Or maybe also a video tutorial about that. I also
Yeah,
have that.
I planned that for later because that requires much more time, and
Yeah.
if we want it to be appealing, yeah, then I'll have to go to more graphics design myself. I'm not a drawer nor an artist, but I should try.
We can ask GD Quest for about that, I think. They have the resources.
I think he's already under the water right now. He's droning into works.
Most probably, yeah.
Poor Nathan. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's a great guy. Uh, maybe he'll see this stream later.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that would be cool. But I don't expect.
Also, we need a stable code base for that. So I think that's a thing of after 4.0 is released,
That's right.
because we are changing too much of the code currently. So we need to have that
That's
stable.
correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so who's taking this one?
Which one? That one I'll do. I'll
All
take
right.
that one.
And then this is just the last thing, the instant
Yep.
transition. I'll ask Duncan about this.
Yep, happy to take it.
All right.
But this
Awesome.
one, feel free to make some tests and transitioning in between many rooms, even if that means trying to set all the transition as instant between every rooms and check if everything's working all right.
Yeah, I'm going to dig into the enable auto transition stuff and
Mm-hmm.
see how that work backwards from there. But yeah, that shouldn't be a problem.
We
I'm
also
not
have,
sure if a good idea is to bypass the curtain. Maybe everything should be managed by curtain still, and not just bypassing it.
I think curtain
Okay, well,
is.
we can look at both approaches anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's curtain is just a material shader currently.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we also have, I don't know, room 14 or something where all the transitioning stuff is tested, and that's a real challenge there. All right, so 7 things. So I guess
So about time, yeah, documentation is is something quite long to do, but I think if we want to take to be large, I'd say 3 weeks.
Yeah.
For all the stuff to be done. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, I'd say this is the same.
Yep.
And, well, there could be issues still coming up in the Discord chat, which we have to add afterwards. But if it's just these 7 items which are currently in progress, I agree with 3 weeks. So another thing that we thought about was creating a better jam for Escoria, where we invite others to create games with Escoria, try out the documentation, ask questions in the Discord and all this stuff, in a jam session for, I don't know, 1 week or 2 week, and produce games. Adventure X was 2 weeks, right, Duncan?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Okay, I think that's a good time.
Exactly, I was about to say it. That's because also that would be made for only Escoria games, and some game developers would certainly like to take this opportunity to learn about the framework, which requires a few time on the jam time, if they start at the moment the jam starts. So yeah, I think 2 weeks is the best way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we figure some time range because we three should be available during that 2 weeks to handle questions and fix bugs that come across, so they're not stopped by the code. And we'll let you know on the Discord chat.
And we'll announce it when we have some dates and themes and everything.
Yeah.
We will announce it on the various channels that we have, mostly Twitter and Discord. But we will see that later.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I think the last thing was just opening the stream for questions and answers about the framework. I hope there are some. Let me switch back to the big view. We already had things in the Discord chat. Let me just quickly see if there's something unanswered there. Yeah, official release date of Godot 4. Oh, Godot 4 compatibility once 4.4 is out of alpha. Yeah. Duncan already gave some hints about that. We don't have an official release date currently for Escoria 4. Well, I hope it will be some days after the jam has ended, if this beta jam, so we can have a stable version there. So I don't know, in April or something, just picking random numbers here, basically. As for Godot 4 compatibility, that's what Duncan was writing, we'll probably discuss the importance of forking, refactoring Escoria to work with Godot 4 before deciding on tackling it. It will be a rather large undertaking given the massive changes to GDScript that works in Godot 4. Yeah, I heard that there will be a converter between 3 and 4 for GDScript. So maybe it's not that much to fix, but well, there's still, I mean, Godot 4 is still very alpha, and there's still lots of things to do. So especially custom resources, which I have a review now from not from a core developer, but from another contributor, and I will see about that, and I hope that the custom resources will finally get into 4 when it's released.
Anyway, about that, even as Lux, I'm not sure I pronounced your name correctly, but he said that there is still going to be a very big change between 3 and 4. And I agree. I would not rely too much on the converter, and I would try to convert myself. I would rather convert manually the project.
Yeah.
I don't think there will be too many difficulties, but I expect a lot of difficulties in the way that's not. I don't remember the name of the keyword we're using a lot. But yeah, actually there will be changes in the way the signals are handled in Godot.
Yield.
And we are relying. Yeah, that's it. Yield. It looks like I'm not using Godot so much apparently. Yeah, the yield is going to change a lot in Godot 4, and we must check this. It's really important.
I heard.
I think that will be the biggest difficulty we will have to face.
Yeah. I am quite looking forward to having a wait in Godot 4. So because I was using yield while developing the compiler, as it would be a wait, and with all this special stuff I added when running a command, so I think that would be quite an improvement there, and making things much easier.
So I guess one question then remains, then if and when that time happens, it's like you said, it's still an alpha and it's a long way out before 4.0 goes to general release. But once that happens and we decide to undertake this, are we going to just fork the base and maintain like pre 4 and post 4, or are we just going to collapse it all and say sorry, 4.0 and up? Like, what do we think about how to handle that?
Well, I'd say that we should enable some kind of long-term support version like the core does. So we have an Escoria version that get bug fixes but not new features, and maybe backported some features. And we have a different branch that supports for, because
Indeed.
our main goal with the rewrite was to have it maintainable over current Godot versions. And if we release 4.0 and then release 5.0, which is compatible with Godot 4, I'd say that they just deinstall it.
The thing is, we are not able to manage the both versions by all three, and that's the problem. Uh, so I would not put all the time on the Godot 4. There is a problem with the version names here because we are talking about the Escoria version of, working on Godot 4,
Yeah.
but still that version will be important, and definitely when it works, and it will anyway it will have to wait for Godot 4 to be stable
Yeah,
first.
exactly.
Uh, we could still try to have it working with the various alpha and betas version of Godot 4. Why not? But we would not release anything, and certainly not stable, or even not unstable. Actually, I'd rather just try to have it working on our own, but nothing official.
Yeah.
And when Godot 4 is stable, we will still have some time to create a new branch working for Godot 4.
Yeah.
Until then, I'd just stick to the version for Godot 3.2. This version will still be important anyway.
Yeah.
And we will have
3.4.
plenty of time. We will have plenty of time for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also say that Godot 4 will be most interesting for 3D developers, which we don't support anyway currently. So 2D developers, especially niche developers for our niche, will just jump to Godot 4 later anyway.
Actually, there are not so many changes in the 2D rendering mode engine of Godot 4. Most changes, as you say, are in the 3D part. But there are a lot of changes in the way GDScript works.
Yeah.
And this is a bit more worrying. Someone in the questions talked and asked about whether Escoria is only GDScript right now, and answering this question, yeah, currently it is using GDScript only. And I think that under this question there was the underlying question was whether Escoria could go C#, maybe. That could be a solution because C# doesn't change, but I'm not so sure. I'm not using C# myself because GDScript works great for Godot and for almost everything I want to do, especially for 2D. And we are not dealing with that many objects. We are not in need of power and having things working so fast. So GDScript just works correctly. I personally have no plans to go C# right now.
No.
And I think I would like to give it a try with the newest version of GDScript when Godot 4.0 stable is out.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And GDScript will be much more mature with Godot 4, at least the things that I saw. And so I also think it doesn't make any sense, especially since C# isn't supported for every platform, I think. At least iOS with Mono, because there's no Mono build for that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not even sure, indeed.
Yeah.
That should be possible. And normally, I think we could use both languages in one project.
Yeah.
I'm not certain that that would totally work, but I'd never tried myself.
Yeah.
I'm not using C# at all. I only used GDScript for almost 10 years now. Not exactly, because Godot is was released in 2013, I think, and I've known Godot in 2014, I think. So we're close to it.
Yeah. I'm still a bit worried, but I mean the Godot 2 to Godot 3 step was huge and chaotic. I've written a gist on GitHub about all the changes between there because they weren't documented well. And but I think Godot 3, at least all that I hear of it, is that Godot 3 to 4 should be a quite smoother transition. So let's hope for the best.
I
Uh,
cannot tell for now, but yeah, it's going to be very important though.
yeah.
We will see. I prefer to stay to stay worried about that and be careful. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Git is for, right?
Yeah, right.
So what do we have here? What improvement can we expect in the way of documentation? Um, yeah, well, at least we have a stable documentation, that's for sure. And we try to document all the aspects, but as we talked about before, we will have some kind of more graphic way of documentation with tutorials, something like this coming up.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
already have a lot of images, but we could. I think it could use some more images. In some, we have some blocks of text sometimes.
mm,
Not every time, but yeah, it's a documentation. Uh, Maybe the underlying question here again was whether we want to make videos, tutorial videos. Uh, we talked about it before. That's possible, but not before we are stable.
yeah, and also we just have to remind that um, having images in documentation and producing videos for a piece of code is always pretty hard because these stuff change all the time, and we have a lot of UI changes from time to time, and then we have to update the images and have to update or reproduce the tutorial videos. So this is quite a lot of work. So we can't keep up with that.
That's right. Actually, I discussed that with GDQuest when we met in Brussels at the not the latest GDCon, but the one before, and that was his opinion, which I'm relying to, which is that the way people are consuming tutorials right now is mostly on videos. Uh, some older people like us still enjoy using and reading documentation text-based, but the community and Godot users are quite young, even though we're talking about an adventure game framework here, so it's not really appealing to all the young people here. But still, a lot of people are still trying to watch tutorials, to have the images and the explanations at the same time. They don't get into the code themselves. They seem, for some reason, to enjoy watching people code, and they just watch it and try to retain it in their minds, but they don't read the documentation themselves. Uh, I'm not sure that's the majority, but that's quite a lot of people right now. Just go on YouTube and you'll find a tutorial for almost anything.
Yeah, I always hate it if I want to see something very quick and somebody didn't write it down but produced a 2-minute video for it. And
But another solution for that is that we don't do it ourselves, and wait for for some nice guy and a nice GDQuest like people in the future, or of the community of Escoria, maybe taking that chance to make great Escoria tutorials in video on YouTube, or any other platform. That would be great. I'd love that. And another good reason, another good example of that is that Godot developers don't do that themselves. They don't do video tutorials to use their engines. So I don't think it's because they don't have time only, but that's because it's already the base remains the text, I think.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
everything flows from the text, in my opinion. But even though, yeah, video tutorials are still important, but we don't have to do that ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. Slacks also said prefer written tutorials to videos, honestly. Maybe it's in our age range. I don't know.
As long as we provide blocks of code, as you said, that's really important.
Yeah, I'd say that as well. 45 this year. Yeah, I'm turning 43 in 1.5 hours.
Maybe I'm the youngest here, actually.
Yeah, cool. So I think that was all the questions we had in the general channel of the Discord. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So I'd like to give it to the chat. If there's any questions you have about Discoria, just ask it. But obviously, even if not, we are reachable in the Discord. Let me just quickly add the link to the Discord channel into the stream. There you go. So if any questions afterwards, just join our Discord and ask us there. We're happy to help.
Quite responsive, I think.
Yeah.
Because we're so happy to have some feedback. Feedback is the most important thing, be it for documentation or using the framework, using Git, create your games. I would like to. I would also like to say that there was a game created with the previous version of Escoria, which is in. I think it was also developed in English, but it was made by French developers. It's a really quite nice nice adventure games called En attendant 9h45, waiting for 9:45, 9 a.m. 45. And yeah, it's really great. Yeah, I think you can find it on HIO.
There it is. Yeah, I'm posting the link.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. That's really something I would like to be able to achieve with the newest version of Escoria. We're close to it, I think. It's really a really great game.
Yep. And I'm also using Escoria for my game Safe House, currently in development, and it's also a good way to test the engine, like Duncan did with Emergency Telemarketer Force, to see how it actually performs and iron out any bugs we find there. Let me just quickly put.
I really enjoyed the humor of this one.
Yeah.
Great work, Duncan.
Thank you.
Let me just put the link as well into the stream. There you go. Okay, so might be worth putting a build of Safe House together if I'd have something to show right now. I've spoken to different people currently, and I have to actually rewrite some stuff of it. So I have to take a step back currently.
Yeah. Never-ending work, you know.
Yeah, I know, and I have deep. I honor people like Francisco Gonzalez and Dave Gilbert. Pretty much how much work and effort they put in their games. I'm seeing Rosewater being created live, and I see how much effort that is, and it's pretty amazing.
Oh, and there was another question I was asked a long time ago, is whether we intend at some point to manage 2.5D
All right.
or even 3D, maybe. So the answer for 3D is no. 3D it's not that it's not of a concern, but there is already another great framework for that, which is called GOAT, GOAT, which you can find on GitHub. But about 2.5D, that's a bit different because it still responds to the 2D adventure games codes, and this is something I would like to try at some point. Maybe not now, but I would like to have a look into that.
Who was the developer of Goat again?
Can I find it? That's Miskatonic Studio.
Miskatonic, yeah. Let me put the link into that as well. Miskatonic just recently completed their demo in Goat.
Yep, I posted the link.
Oh yeah, awesome.
And yeah, indeed, they released a new video of the game they released recently.
Yeah, I also agree that we don't need to dance on every wedding. With Escoria, we have basically just targeted at three third-person adventure games in 2 or 2.5D. So there's Goat for 3D adventures, and I think Goat has a very nice user interface. Always makes me remember these escape room games where you can escape room games basically in 3D. And well, I have to say that there's Echo Venture for first-person adventure games, which is tailored for that. And I think it's a good idea to concentrate on the stuff where Escoria really shines, and I think this should be our goal there.
Definitely.
All right. So if there's nothing else the chat would like to add, I think we can close the first Escoria board meeting and question and answers. And I'll say that we should do that again at some time because I think it's pretty fun and also very informative for people.
Yeah, we could do that every month. Every month, maybe that would be interesting. I think.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So when we just say that every 4 months, every first stream every first deep stream in the month is Escoria board meeting, something like that. But we'll figure something out. Let you guys know.
Yeah, for sure.
Sounds good.
All right, Julian, Duncan, thanks you very much for hanging out, and we'll see each other.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. Let's just move back to there you go. So yeah, this was pretty interesting, I think, and I hope that we can actually follow that through and give you a good and stable release of Escoria 4.0. I think I think I'll just close the chat. I'll close the stream today a bit earlier than usual because I don't think it makes any sense to do something right now anyway, and I'm not prepared actually. So let's just see how who else is online currently, and we can do a little rate for them. I'd like to say that thank you for being around and having interest in the whole Escoria project. It's a very fun thing to have, and yeah. So Laura is online. Cress-up. Let's have some party with Laura. I think that's always a good idea. So let's just go there. Raid channel. Cress-up. All right, people. Thanks for stepping by, and hope you'll be back in the next Deepstream next week. See you there. Bye-bye.
Is this a boss? It's a boss, isn't it? I think this is a boss. Hello, Deep Entertains. How you doing, mates? I will be playing more Carol Reed Mysteries. Camilla Darker Souls is good, Persuadertron. I mean... Hello! You're right, Dennis. We've literally just gotten to this boss. And I didn't know it was going to be a boss.